Hello people of the internet, my name is Henry Danish, owner of REDCUBE Everything, and we are here with the Ego versus Balance matchup. Obviously, I actually changed my camera today, and I actually already want to fix it. It's a little bit too, oh my goodness, why did I do this? We've already ran into a mistake, boys. That's better. Okay, there we go. So I fixed my camera, so we are all good to go. And yes, today was a little bit confusing. Obviously, some people thought the Disrupt game was getting casted. Some people thought this game was getting casted. But in the end, we are going to be casting the Ego versus Balance matchup. And as you guys all know, like always, I do a quick run through of everything on my end of things just to make sure everything is going smoothly, as in frames and things like that. And it does look good. I was seeing a little bit of an issue earlier today when I was doing a test stream, which kind of threw off the setup a little bit. So again, the transitions that you guys are seeing might be a little bit delayed. That's the only thing that I noticed when I was doing the test stream, but we should be good to go. Obviously, it's not the first week anymore, so there shouldn't be as many wrinkles, but obviously it's not going to be all technically sound, so there could be a couple things here and there. But nonetheless, let's get right into this matchup. Ego versus Balance. Obviously, as you guys can see, you guys voted below, and this is going to be an insanely tight matchup. Almost 50-50 on the votes, and I'm joined here by Jasmine. Jasmine, first take, what are you seeing from these guys?
Well, I know that Ego's been putting up a hell of a lot of fight, but I feel like Balance are going to be the favorite of the crowd, but the vote, I think, says otherwise, because because whenever we saw Balance, they got into the community vote. They got 117 votes.
Yes.
Ego, on the other hand, however, have been definitely building themselves up a crowd. They have 2 admins, hourly and damaging,
Absolutely.
or 2 staff, technically,
Yeah.
hourly and damaging. On their side, they have the former Pro League player, that's a joke, by the way, Mr. B, the Brit himself, and Flip, who has just been absolutely nuts. However, they do have Brute instead of Vitally,
Yes.
which is interesting. That's a main roster change there, and that could definitely hurt out Ego. But Balance have not been looking so good in general.
No, absolutely.
So, as for my takeaway on this matchup, though, I believe that it's going to be as close as the vote, just because of how Ego have been playing. I feel like Balance are definitely a formidable team. It's maybe they just haven't found their wave yet, considering this is a new league. For them, so we're gonna have to see how they put up against a team like Ego, who have been showing their strengths very early on.
Yeah, Ego are definitely one of those teams that kind of came out of the gates swinging. They were very, very strong in their very first matchup, and I'm thinking to them, I think what they're saying to themselves is, let's not look back. And they're gonna just keep fighting, keep going on, and just try to be as hot as a pistol. BG, on the other hand, they looked a little rough in their debut. There was things here and there that they definitely have to fix, but that could have easily just been first week nerves, and that could all be changed here. But first, I'm going to show you guys the lineups for these two teams. Actually, I'm going to go back to that, and let's talk about the maps. We're going to be going on Clubhouse, Coastline, and then onto Consulate if a decider is needed. With these maps, very interesting, and the reason I say that is because not one meta map is being played. Yes, Coastline is in there. Coastline is the 3rd most picked map, but what I mean meta map, I mean Oregon and Border. We're seeing none of that, and that's going to be very interesting. Obviously, Clubhouse finding its way through, that's going to be tough. That is, Ego is extremely strong on that map, and then Coastline and Consulate, obviously Coastline is Balance's pick. They're going to have to take a very, very kind of big chunk out of Ego's train, because on Clubhouse, I think I'm going to be giving that one to Ego, because they are so strong on Clubhouse.
See, I feel like if Balance could get defense on Coastline, they can hold off against Ego, or sorry, rather attack. If Balance can get attack against Ego, they can hold off. But Ego are so unpredictable. I mean, whenever, for example, something as simple as their bans, they don't have any auto bans. They don't have any click and just get rid of bans.
Yeah.
They kind of stick to the sidelines, and whenever it comes to that, like, yeah, sure, you're gonna ban your Mira, but you know, Lion, who has been seen basically as a universal ban, they don't like to actually ban Lion at all, and it could just be that they have Lion strategies themselves, but in general, they're just a very unorthodox team. But if Balance can get that attack, they might be able to throw Ego's strategies off, but it's not too big.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, I do apologize. As you can see, the background screen, that's the thing that I was having an issue with. It likes to shut off out of nowhere, so that should be addressed here and there. But just to get right into it, let's talk about the lineups very, very quickly here. Obviously, going over Balance's lineup, they had some breakout players last week. They had a player actually with a KDA of 4.0, absolutely insane, which was Hoodie. But that's not all the story, as Ego, on the other hand, also had had a player with a KD of even more than that, as again, the overlay is shutting off, guys, and I do apologize for that. But if we're looking at the Ego lineup, we actually had a 5.3 in flip, which is very, very insane, which is very nice. So there's some powerhouses on these teams. There's some incredibly skilled players on these teams, and I think we should just be getting right into it here. And the first map is going to be Clubhouse. I will see you guys there. I don't want to let the players wait any longer, because they've been waiting in quite a bit right now, but we're going to be getting right into it. First map, Clubhouse. I will see you guys there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and we're going to get right into it. The operator bans. Obviously, guys, I've always said this is my favorite part, and I absolutely love the operator bans. And actually, in the tournament I was casting this weekend, we saw some very interesting bans. Bandit being banned out, Smoke being banned out. It's going to be interesting if we see something like that here today, but probably not expected, as the very first ban is going to be a Maverick. Pretty typical there. Nothing new coming out from Ego.
Maverick has been showing himself as a very versatile and uncounterable operator, unless you want to use bullets, and Lion will go off the board from Ego Academy. As I was talking about, they don't like to run these simple bans, but it will be a Lion. Most likely due to the fact that they have so many Clubhouse strategies, they can kind of just sit, and even if they had a Lion, it's just kind of for convenience getting rid of them, and Ego will get rid of the Echo. This is absolutely no surprise whatsoever.
Yeah.
Hoodie is he's a god on that Japanese man. He will destroy. He is the Zeus of Echo, and seeing him banned might handicap him just a little bit, but not too much, as Mira will be the last ban. No surprise, especially on a map like
absolutely
Clubhouse.
Not. And what we said when we came into this was maybe we can expect something different. Absolutely not. These are the probably most typical bans you're ever going to see. Maverick, Lion, Echo, Mira off the board. No surprises anywhere. I mean, maybe Maverick, but Maverick, especially on Clubhouse, when you're defending that cash room, is so deadly. That's why they got rid of it. So there's really no surprises, especially on a map like Clubhouse. But it's very good bans. Just because there's no surprises doesn't mean it's not a good ban. And what I mean by that is because of these bans, because of the Lion off the board, because of the Echo, Maverick, Mira all off the board, this will just kind of accelerate the style of play from all of these players, because those operators are extremely strong. And there's a lot of people on each of those teams that are very good at an individual operator that was banned. So these are all very, very smart bans, but I still think they kind of work hand in hand with both teams, and no team's really coming out to an advantage right off the bat with those bans.
Right, and like we talked about, this is really going to be an Ego map, unless Balance can pull something like a Houdini. But yeah, like I said, operator ban, very typical. So if we were to exclude the map favor, this is so far.
What was that you cut out?
Oh gosh, are you lagging?
I am not. 1 second, let me see if
Discord just like break on us.
Hold up 1 second. I can try to. Is it better now? Are you good now?
Yeah, can you hear me? Well?
Yeah.
That's weird. It was like, okay, well, okay. I just lost my train of thought at that point. Yeah,
all right. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. I guess Discord just didn't want you to speak. Unfortunate, but
wow. Okay. All right.
But we are like I said, with the lineups, they are a little bit inaccurate, as they had to bring in a late sub of Brute here. Brute is on the roster, so this isn't something that's just completely out of the ordinary. But he was not planned to play today, so that is technically out of the ordinary. But he definitely has played with this roster before. He has played with these guys before. It's just going to be a little bit different, as Mr. B is actually going to lose a Habana onto that wall straight away, as Bandit puts it. I don't even think he was Bandit triggering. I think that's just unlucky timing there from Mr. B. That is just unfortunate. So 1x Cairo is already off of the board.
Yeah, and you have Brute on that Thermite. You can kind of add that to the point of, they probably don't know what they want to do with Brute, because Thermite's a very typical operator that can surround a lot of strategies. All he has to do is blow up this wall.
Whoa,
and
5 versus 0?
Absolutely incredible on the side of Ego to finish off this round. Yeah, it's a glitch. If somebody gets banned, we're going to be seeing that a lot this game. The glitch where you get disconnected? Yeah, that's basically it.
That's basically it.
One lung and it's a bit scary. One lung and a bit of an engagement here, trying to save his own life. The ADS will do that for him as well. and Spartan trying to help him out as well. But that window pressure's too much. However, we'll fall off of it. Zofia instead will drop right down there, and that is Flip sitting right outside of that window. And time is a ticking, but right now Ego are looking great in their setup. They have control what they need, yet they have yet to step foot in important parts of the building. As we see Mr. B sitting, however, inside of logistics with Hourly, both holding the same doorway. Not sure if there's a roamer or something, but damaging will be felt first to One Lung. The opening frag of the game will go to Balance, and it's no longer balanced towards Ego's side.
I like that. That was good. That was good. But we are going to see a C4 that is going to land, and Zofia is going to be off of the board. So One Lung picking up 2 frags. He was very, very strong in the last match, and he's definitely continuing that today. Taking out Flip, especially to Zofia. Lots of utility off the board, and Spartan getting a kill on Hourly. So it's going to be all up to the hard breachers now of Habana and Thermite. Looking really, really good right now for Balance. We said this was Ego's map. Right now, Balance are walking all over them, looking to take a flawless round here with about 40 seconds left. Ego, they have the resources, but they're just not making anything of it. They have the map control, and they don't have the bodies, as it's going to be a 1 versus 5 now, all up to Mr. B, who is stuck here in gym, and Diffuser down as well. This is not looking good, and it looks like it's going to be a flawless round. 20 seconds left. Got to be giving this one to Balance. 1 kill, though, going to be going to 6.
No longer a perfect match, however, or sorry, perfect round. However, Mr. B will finally die out, and downing the smoke right behind Arctic. I believe he might have just Mike Tyson his ear or something. getting the kill on the smoke.
I have no idea how that smoke got hit. What? That's just unfortunate.
I think it just like flew past his
yeah,
head.
it just like smacked him a little bit. But
That's bearing 9 for you.
Yeah, exactly. But that is very, very good start there for Balance. Just frags all around there for One Lung and Arctic, especially One Lung getting those 2 opening frags, especially on Zofia. Lots of utility off the board as well as Flip off the board. Flip was absolutely insane last week, and getting him off the board early is definitely a just a major bonus for that Balance side. But they are going to be bringing out the Clash on Church Arsenal Room is very viable. This Clash can definitely just completely stifle a push in its tracks, and they aren't going to be bringing it. So never mind, they are going to be taking that Vigil, and Vigil as well, still an extremely good operator. It looks like he's going to change it off. No, he's not. Still a very good operator. He's definitely going to be searching on that deep roam, but that Jackal might have something to say about it.
Interesting 6-pick phase here. Hoodie switching off of the Clash, which I feel like they need a Clash, to be honest with you. I don't know if Vigil is exactly the best, because Clash is very, very good on this site. You can basically hold an entire area. If you want to hold the L hallway, go do that. Or I guess main hallway. If you want to hold the main hallway, go do that. You want to hold blue, go do that. You want to hold kitchen, go do that. You can do that all with Clash, but Hoodie instead bringing the Vigil, opting for the better guns. And while Clash did receive a little bit of a shot in the foot, she's still possibly the most powerful operator on defense whenever it comes to map control. So interesting 6-pick phase, probably just an IGL call. Not really sure. Could be nothing more than that.
And something that's really odd about that 6-pick as well is how drastically different the Vigil is from the Clash. So you're having a shield operator who's kind of a roamer. It depends how you play her. But then going to a completely deep roamer in Vigil. Maybe just some uncertainties on the side of Balance Gaming, but I think nonetheless probably was, like he said, an IGL pick that just thought would be the smarter move. Maybe they were trying to bring on a Clash to throw them off, and they said, I was like, turn into Mike Tyson.
Well, now you're really turning into Mike Tyson.
I don't even know what I was going to say. It doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, but I agree with you there. They're 2 completely different operators. And while Vigil is diverse in the way that he plays, he can play Anchor and Roamer, you're most likely going to put him on a Roamer. I mean, he's a 3-speed with 2 incredible guns. Yeah. Clash, on the other hand, can really do anything. She's just kind of like a, step on your tracks type of operator. You want to do this, you're going to have to get through
me first. Yeah, a giant wall.
Yeah,
it shocks you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't know. You might as well just rip Bandit's reinforcements off and call it an operator.
Exactly. We're going to see IQ already gaining a lot of control of this kitchen area, but he has to be careful. There is no pulse, but there is a Valkyrie, so C4 could get him from below. Brute, however, is going to be pushing in here with damaging, pushing the bathroom toilets area, meeting up with Hourly at the kitchen. And Hourly sitting here still very dangerous game, especially in this kitchen area when there is a C4 in play. Could definitely see Arctic, as it looks like he is prepping it, but I don't exactly know where he is trying to throw that, as I think he's expecting maybe someone coming through that closet, but nobody is going to be coming through there, as Damaging is going to get in the first gunfight with 6, and 6 is actually going to be taking down Brute, and 6 on this Jaeger roll last week was struggling considerably, but getting a nice kill there onto the Thatcher, lots of utility off the board, and now Thermite is going to have to turn into Fragmite and get rid of this Jaeger.
Yeah, Arlie thankfully helping him out here just so he doesn't have to take the gunfight, but you're still losing Thatcher and a lot of HP on that Thermite. And Thermite himself will be lost to a C4. Flip finally going to take out Hoodie, however, that's the vigil off the board, so our talk didn't even matter. But 6 is still sitting in that strip club area, and he is not being stopped here. Mr. B is going to challenge him next, but no bullets are hitting until Flip shows up with another kill, and he will take out 6, and finally that Jaeger is gone. However, time is has definitely been wasted by both Hoodie and 6. While they are gone, they are not forgotten, and this time shows.
Yeah, so 20 seconds left here, and again, up to 3-on-3, but Mr. B gets a huge kill there onto 1 Lun, and that's going to be a 2v3, so this is definitely possible, but with time running out, they're going to have to speed things up here. As Arctic is going to go down as well, they could potentially just go for the plant here. Mr. B here is just going to be pushing the hallway. Maestro is just shooting up the corner, just riddling shots. They have to get that diffuser down, but it doesn't matter as Flip was able to get a kill onto Spartan, and that was cutting it way too close for comfort there for Ego. It was at one point a 5 versus 3. They were able to kind of clutch it up, bring it back to a 3v3, and then kind of snowball effect from there. Ego able to take it, tie it up here at 1-1, but still, again, very, very close call, almost running out of time, but Maestro in the end just loses his life.
Yeah, I don't feel like Ego are one of those teams to simply fall to a 5v3 and give up at that point. They're definitely a team that's able to consist and pursue and still call it a good round. And that was definitely shaky, though.
Yes, absolutely.
The time that it took just to get rid of the Jaeger, let alone Hoodie. Well, I guess Hoodie was kind of killed off a bit too early, getting a bit aggressive on his part, which could have cost them that round. But not being able to get rid of 6 in such a position that is so vulnerable, considering that you have the doorway, you have strip club that you can go into, you can go to the window. He should have been pinched out of there, but instead you had them all clustered together inside of the bar and bathroom trying to get him out there, and you lost players to that and time mainly, and it was all up to 40 seconds. However, they did win the round, and that was all around a good round for Balance in general.
Yes,
so
definitely.
It's surprising that they lost that. Just a lot of great gunplay from Ego. As we talked about, Flip is an absolute god.
Yes.
And Mr. B also showing up just a little bit. Both doing amazing work, and Ego will win that round. And they're going to have a fresh reset. Hopefully fix some mistakes, because they definitely made way more mistakes than
absolutely.
Balance did.
Yeah, so that was definitely like I think what you're kind of getting at here is that was definitely a round Balance should have won. Everything was kind of in their favor. It's just kind of individual skill took over, and that's not something you typically see in Siege. Yes, individual skill can take you a long way, but the moment, I guess, the team falls apart and a lot of factors aren't in your favor, you're going to most likely lose that round, and that's exactly what happened with Ego there. They got a little bit lucky with the individual skill side of things, and they were able to clutch it out. And those types of rounds are going to start getting capitalized on by every single team in this league. Obviously, as you guys know, we've brought in Disrupt into the league, so very high-skilled teams are going to capitalize on that. If you're not making the most of your team play, if you're not making the most of your utility, well, good luck against teams that are kind of adapting on the fly. And I think that's definitely a big thing Ego have to look out. They escaped there, getting the round, but there was just way too many mistakes, like you said, and they need to kind of tighten things up, get things going here, because Balance are going to adapt, Balance are going to get used to it, and then they're going to start winning the rounds.
Right, and let's just hope that they, at least it was a life lesson for them.
Yes, absolutely.
Because if you win the round and you make more mistakes, I would actually much rather make more mistakes than win the round, because then I know what I did wrong.
Yeah, of course.
And then you also know what Balance did wrong. You know, you have two different perspectives here, and Hoodie will immediately take out Flip, shot right in the nose, so he will have no perspective at all. And that is your Zofia off the board. That is Flip off the board, and every single player on Balance apparently. But right now, Mr. B pressured inside of blue, being pressured by the Legion and the Valkyrie. Legion will get spotted out just to alleviate a little bit of Mr. B's stress. and he's just sat behind that wall. He's kind of stuck where he is. He can't do much except for fire back right at the Legion. This would be a huge frag if he gets it. Legionn's a very powerful operator, but the question is will he be even be able to spare his own life in the position that he's in? Damaging will run right into a goo mine, however, and Legion well alive, as Damaging can't go for that wall, and Hoodie with another kill, showing himself off. That's hourly off the board. That's your IQ.
Ooh.
And Lung as well. And
wow.
Oh my, it's just a flurry here for Balance. What was almost a perfect round will be shot down by Mr. B once again, finally putting down Hoodie. However, this time he actually has 40 seconds instead of 20, so he could definitely win this out, but his location is well aware as he drops down to Moto.
Yeah, this is not looking good. It's definitely possible, not probable, and it's going to be impossible, as 6 is able to get the kill onto Mr. B. And again, Ego are looking really disjointed right now. It seems the attack is a little bit all over the place. What we saw there was Thermite was downstairs ready to place a Thermite charge on that bar church wall. And what I mean by that is the bar behind in church, the little bar behind church. And he was ready to place an exothermic charge down with nobody else downstairs. Why, out of all operators, is the Thermite by himself? He is the most important operator in a push, and the fact that he's just kind of pushing by himself, nobody supporting him, no supporting cast, that's a very, very big problem. And Ego are just separating way too much. They're getting caught out on flanks. They're getting caught out by roamers. And sometimes it's very early on, or sometimes it's in groups, and that's typically what you see in Siege. Either, like we actually saw a little bit of both of that. Flip goes off very early, and then we saw 3 operators back to back to back go down because no flank watch, and nobody was just watching simple angles. They get knocked out completely, and then it's left up all again to Mr. B, who finds himself in clutch positions. Yes, he gets a kill here and there, but those are impactless frags. They don't change anything about the round. They don't change anything about just the win count, the round count, anything. It's just frags, and that's kind of unfortunate because Mr. B finds himself in really tough positions. He's kind of put into spots where everything is put against him, and there's not much he can do. And I just think Ego right now is looking a little bit too separated, and BG are capitalizing very, very well.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fingers that you can really point at that. You can point at the individual players themselves, the squads themselves, the IGL.
Mm-hmm.
You have to wonder why Brute is going off on his own. Is it an IGL call? Is it
was Damage. Damaging was actually playing Thermite that round.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it's interesting that they like to put Damaging on there. I would expect him to be on a different kind of role, maybe a fragger, not so heavy support-wise.
Yeah.
And Brute's going to go back on that Thermite. But yeah, maybe it is him just tapping into his inner... As Flip taps into his
I don't
thing.
Even know. I don't know. Oh my.
I mean, he's sending spirits to the gods. They sacrifice so many souls, they have to get rid of them somehow, just throwing up them down and shaking them all around. Maybe they have some sort of voodoo doll.
As Hoodie's getting into it as well. Good lord, dude. But we are going to be seeing 6. 6 actually was very close to just popping someone through the wall, but unfortunately they don't see what we see, as Hoodie and 6, I think, are just having a good time just peeking at each other. But the Thermite is potentially going to be able to get that charge down, but again, that Bandit, that's twice already able to Thermite, and that's both of them. Wait, no, it's not my fault. He hasn't even used any of them. He's just faking. I thought that is 100% my miscall. But Bandit's definitely, no matter what, giving this Thermite a lot of trouble. And is definitely wasting a lot of time, as 1 minute has gone by, and Thermite hasn't even placed a charge down yet, and this Bandit is just going back and forth and back and forth. And it's gonna be put down finally. But a lot of time wasted as Damage. He's able to get a frag kill, and that's going to be 1 Lun off the board. A little bit too late, but nonetheless, the door is going to be opened, and a frag goes in favor of that Ego side.
Right, and great teamwork in there, not only to destroy the last of Bandit's batteries, but also destroy the Bandit himself with the grenade, and Mr. B will also destroy the Jaeger. Both the Germans down, and an Italian. However, Arctic will finally get at least 1 frag onto Damaging. That's your sledge off the board. Not a high-impact frag in general, and Hourly will finish off Arctic. The man is a god himself, however, he will be taken out, so not so god, but pretty now left in a clutch situation. As we saw Mr. B in this situation, he will instead be the one to take out the clutcher, and Ego will take another round. And this game has been so back and forth, 2-2, and I don't know what to expect at this point. We said that this was an Ego map.
Yeah.
The Bouncers showing themselves to be formidable.
And we also said this was going to be a close game, and that's what we're seeing here, which is no surprise, but especially Clubhouse. Clubhouse is seriously Ego's one of the Ego's best maps. They are incredibly skilled on it. And it's very odd to see them making kind of these careless mistakes and kind of these disgruntled plays that could easily be the fact that Brute is playing. Maybe there's a sub is throwing things off, but that shouldn't be the case. Right now, just the way you're kind of seeing these teams look, a lot of people would be expecting BG to be on the top of things, but Ego have made it count where it counts and have kind of tied up rounds and gotten some good crossfires and kind of just good teamwork when needed. And they were able to get a couple rounds here and there, tying it up 2-2 here. So there's glimpses of really strong play here from Ego, but then it's kind of overshadowed by some glaring mistakes.
Right, and in general, they're just so obvious, like you said, and common too. I mean, for example, if we're gonna go back 2 rounds, don't put the thermite alone.
Yeah.
Both of these teams making these mistakes, and Bandit, where'd all of his batteries go? I mean, he was bandit tricking the wall with 2 batteries, I believe, or not even 2. I think just 1.
Just 1, actually. Sure. Yeah, no, just 1. You just kept going back and forth.
Yeah, and if you're gonna have a wall like that, which is so important, the CCTV wall is detrimental if it gets open. Your entire CCTV hold falls on itself, especially without the Mira. And we see Bandit putting basically nothing in his economy towards that wall. Only 1 Bandit battery. I'm not sure if it was 1 or 2, but I'll take your word for it. This time using 3, however, not going to do the same thing that he did last time. And while it did take a minute, it's better than not getting the wall open at all.
Yes.
As we see 1 lung once again on the Bandit trick. We'll get rid of 2 Bandit. We'll waste 2 of his Bandit batteries and destroy 1 of the exothermic charges. Doing a better job this round. So already off to a good start here for balance.
So Brute's going to go for yet another one, but again, Bandit is on this. I think the biggest thing to take away is there is actually a lot of time being wasted here by this Bandit, but there's going to be a Twitch run that is going to hit the Bandit charge and is going to kind of throw that away. As also thing that gets thrown away is that C4, very big waste of utility there, as that was just kind of a premature throw. At the same time, Hourly, already in the lounge area below the site, is able to get a kill onto 6. So the Jaeger is going to be going down, and now looking very fast-paced here for Ego, but nonetheless, Arctic is able to get a trade out. Yes, it was a late trade, but it is a trade nonetheless. And Maestro is going to be in the down, but not outstage, but picked back up here as Hourly is able to get yet another frag as 1 Lun goes down.
Yeah, and Hourly now having control of East Stairs, Arctic is going to try and take it away from Hoodie, staying inside Steve's TV, and Arctic's just going to push up, but Flip will get the kill onto Hoodie, taking this out of 2v2, now a 3v1, and the diffuser! Arctic is right on the diffuser, he's going to run inside, but Hourly with, I believe, a 4K was shut out that round. I'm not sure if my numbers are correct.
Yes, it was, I think.
It was a 4K, so absolutely incredible on the side of Hourly, doing the best job as that Ash player, and he will secure himself and his team the half.
And what's really odd there is Arctic was in such a nice spot. He could have flanked the entire team, but just kind of froze when he saw the thermite planting. I think a little bit of a BM there. I think he was trying to go for the cheeky headshot, but in that situation, there's zero need and there's zero kind of question. Why would you freeze up there? Why would you take your time there? He kind of hesitated. And I think that easily was the difference of him getting just 1 kill and not 2 kills, as if he rotated through that door, was a little bit quicker, would have gotten the kill onto the person on that kind of upper balcony of the garage, and could have easily then fragged out Hourly, who was in the other room. So just a little bit of a hesitation there from Arctic, and that definitely could have been the difference of winning and losing that round out. But nonetheless, like you said, Ego able to take the half on their map. So it looked rough. It's been very messy. Let's hope they can kind of clean things up on defense and maybe shut this out and then kind of go straight on to Coastline.
I feel like what the mentality was behind that pause is trying to waste as much time as usual, but he was in the middle of the entire site.
Yeah.
And he was just sitting there looking at him, and he could have been easily picked off if he would have waited 1 more second. But I saw what he was trying to do.
Yeah, just kind of, yeah. It was a smart play in the books and the numbers of things, but based on the scenario, based on the background, and just kind of what was going on, he was literally in the middle of a gunfight. And that's just not the best time to take your time. That's kind of more of the time when you're going to duck and cover and then just shoot and run. And that's something he just didn't do. It was smart, but not smart in that specific situation.
Right, and like you said, could have worked out in the end.
Yeah.
But actually, if you think about it, in the end, that delay caused the person inside a garage to vault over. If he would have shot him earlier, he might have been able to catch him off guard.
Yeah,
on
exactly.
That. So it turns out maybe that little bit of delay cost him his own life.
Yeah.
Not really sure. Again, this is all theorizing. The round's over. This isn't something you can think about in that very moment.
Yeah, absolutely not. There's so much more going on in that player's head.
Yeah, and, well, your opening frag will be Mr. B on that Jaeger, and that's already amazing. An amazing start here for Arctic. We'll take a little bit of damage, but not as bad as getting a kill. And one lung is okay. He's just pushing in. Now upstairs control is in the hand of Balance. However, they still have a roamer sitting right there in flip, and he can do major damage. But one lung will most likely spot him out before he can spot the Montaigne, and he will run away with it, hopefully trying to preserve his life as that wall is just collapsing on him. He will go back to it, though. His location well aware of, and he will just try and preserve his own life. But there is the Arctic goal with another kill
teamwork
inside a lounge. Yeah, absolutely incredible work on that pinch. And Balance already looking great on the second half.
Absolutely great communication there from Balance, just knowing Vigil's going to drop, get in that doorway, and shoot his head off, and it's exactly what IQ did. And they have complete map control. They have all the resources to get a plant down. They just have to kind of commit with it. They have the numbers, they have the control, and they have the utility as well. So it's looking really, really good right now, but Hourly... Gosh, he is just a menace with that C4. He is able to take down the Monty, but obviously with points off, he does not know that, so this definitely could be picked back up, but that Monty is in an extremely dangerous position right in front of that wall, but he's going to be picked back up nonetheless. So it is still going to be a 4 versus 3, so that C4 kill was good, but it only brought down 50 health here, as there is also somebody pushing from construction. Damaging is just in a very, very tough pinch here, and it's not looking good.
Yeah, and he's going to have to try and take... Actually, that'll be Hourly trying to help him out. However, Damaging will fall either way, and Spartan going to finish him off, leaving this at a 1v3 now, as Brute is down as well. And the plant can safely go down, and that's, I believe, going to be happening soon in church. I'm not even sure if they know that they downed the Maestro, as the plant will go down right behind K9 spot. Shots will be coming out here from the construction tunnel. So overall, Hourly is just so pressured.
Yeah.
But it's winnable. Is it possible? No.
No.
But is it winnable? Yeah. But 1 HP basically at this point. If you sneeze on him, he'll most likely have a heart attack and die. And he's stuck right now in a really precarious scenario. As 6 will finish off the Maestro, or the Maestro will rather bleed out, and 6 will also put a tally onto his board, making his kill just look a little bit more impressive. And is there a spider crawling up my... Oh, my phone fell. Oh my god. I'm sorry. My phone like fell out of my pocket and landed on my seat, and it gave me a heart attack. Oh my god. Okay, overall.
Dude, it's October, dude. It's spook time.
Overall, well-rounded there from Balance Gaming. Teamwork showing its brightest here with that Montaigne.
Absolutely.
Just doing absolutely incredible. And it seems like Igor are going to have to add a ban, or an operator ban to their tally on Coastline.
Yeah, and I don't mean to put BG on a very, very high horse here, but with that Monty play, they reminded me a lot of Penta. Just the way Penta in the Invitational brought the Monty with Pengu. Obviously, it was a little bit of a different style of push, but it was just kind of the same foundation. They bring the Monty, clear out everything you need, and just having that Monty in a push is just an absolute menace, is an absolute wall. So annoying to kill, just such a nuisance. And that's exactly what Penta did in the Invitational, and definitely just started turning rounds around for them. I think that's kind of what the Balance Gaming side is going after right now, and they did an incredibly good job. And I think something that is one of the highlights that probably won't get clipped because it's not necessarily a flashy play, but it's just, I think, one of the smartest plays, was just the sheer, I don't know how, whatever. But it was just the great team communication from BG on that pinch to get rid of that Vigil. There is literally 3 people, and no matter which way that Vigil went, he was dead. And that was just absolutely spectacular, and that looks really, really good for BG. And if they continue plays like that, it's going to be very, very hard for Ego to not only get a roam game going, but to get any type of play going for them.
Stop talking about Penta. I'm kidding. That was a good comparison. They lost, though.
I know.
They got their first L.
I don't understand how... Well, Penta didn't. Penta won, but G2,
Well,
which was Penta, beat them. And I'm like, what, dude? Like that
I'm
makes
sure,
no
I'm sure
sense.
you were definitely soft that entire night.
I
Anyway,
was very,
I'm joking.
very.
that went down. Anyway, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, they played a lot of Montaigne, and I cried my entire heart out whenever I saw that EG couldn't bear to even try and stop that because
Oh,
I
it's
was
great.
actually. I think you were there too.
Yes, I was.
Oh yeah. I remember. I thought that you were kind of like a douche because you were wearing like a Zeno.
Yeah,
I saw you.
yeah.
It's so weird. It's so weird that I'm casting with you now. Like it's a weird. It's like
It's such a small world. Oh,
but yeah,
that's funny.
you're right. Smart plays from one lung to do absolute wonders
Yeah.
to balance, and it's good that they're bringing him out. And that could be a major detriment. Now the question comes: is do they want to waste the operator ban on that Montaigne, or because Montaigne is way more powerful on coastline?
Oh
than he
yeah,
is Clubhouse.
absolutely.
And if one lung are being as destructive as they are on coastline or on consulate or on, well, there's 3 C's. If they're being as destructive as they are on Clubhouse,
Yeah, there you go.
I'm scared for Ego on coastline. We're just gonna have to find out.
Because Monty here is playing very aggressive with that shield down, is going to spot out that lesion on the top of the stairs, but just again, it's an absolute menace. Map control completely granted here, but Mr. B is still on the prowl, and nonetheless, Mr. B is able to get a kill onto Arctic. So down goes the IQ, and now Mr. B is going to be rotating back up to site. Shots riddling through the smoke, none of which are going to land. Oh my goodness, Hourly, stop! That's the second, oh my god, that's the second time in a row Hourly gets a kill with the C4. He did this last week, getting a 2K with the C4, and he's just been an absolute menace on that mute with that C4. It's just been so hard to deal with as Mr. B is able to get another kill onto 6, and it's going to be all up to the Thermite, and Hourly just outguns him. The Fuser goes down, and the round goes down as well, as Ego are able to take it back and forth, back and forth. This is exactly what we expected from these teams.
Oh, this game is so balanced here.
I guess it's so balanced you don't want to have a high ego. Double pun.
You sweatshirt. That's like when I was looking at you with the sweatshirt. That's exactly how I feel now.
Oh god.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect this as much on Clubhouse, but
Yeah, me neither. Absolutely not.
yeah, Balance are putting up a fight, and that Montaigne is just it's destroying them. And Mr. B is going to bring, I guess, I don't want to say discount Montaigne. I actually don't know.
I don't know what Clash is. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that operator. I think it's a direct counter, I think, to try to answer to this Monty, which is smart, because, like, shield on shield, I mean, if this was a secure area, that would be interesting, but it's going to be a just shield on shield battle, where they're just kind of like, you know how Rams fight, where they just kind of, like, butt heads, and just keep slamming into each other? That's probably what we're going to see here from the Clash and the Monty.
I mean, if I had to have that type of fight with Clash, I'd probably just pull a Frenchman as the Monty and surrender, because there is no way I am butting heads with that skull. I don't know what that. It's probably made of like titanium or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Like just like pure bullets, just like melted. Like what's the
victims?
Yeah. What's the metal in Game of Thrones? Like the dragon. What is it? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, Valyrian steel. It just like goes through anything. Oh my god.
I wonder if she spits fire, honestly.
Probably. Instead of just shocking people, she just.
We became so attentive to the fact that Flip is playing Frost with a shotgun. I think.
My lord! What?
Is he? Is she?
Oh, there it is. Here's the battle we've been waiting for.
Which one's more intimidating than the other? As actually, it seems like Mr. B is the one that's losing this map control, because Glaz is sitting right behind her, so she's actually the one losing this ramp fight. And then Knife coming out here, however, Glaz not ready.
Oh, his damaging takes down. Damage is gonna go down. That's smoke off the board extremely early. I have no idea how that happened, but Frost here is going to be caught in a gunfight, and everybody is turtling up already. Ego is losing their shape by the second, and they just are not looking good. But Frost could get a nice frag there. Is great map knowledge there by Flip, and the shots are actually going to land on that Glaz and going to down him. pickup is going to be coming out, though, here from the thermite. Shots are going to riddle through, and Hourly is able to take that kill. So Glass off the board. What looked very, very bad here for Ego has quickly turned to be extremely good, but One-Lun's able to get a frag and even it up here at 3-3. Spartan's able to make it 2-3, and just like that, Mr. B is able to make it 2-2. Very fast-paced here as Plant... What? Plant is coming down.
Mr. B can't really do much about this. He has 1 HP, and the plant won't happen.
Oh.
However, it doesn't matter as a frag fest from Balance will win that out. And it's a 4-4. I don't even know how to call this, honestly. But it looks like I'm not going to bed till 1 in the morning.
That's probably going to happen. I'm definitely expecting map 3 from these teams. Or just maybe a 2-0, but every single round is played. And what I mean by that is it goes to the round 3 of overtime. Thank God we don't do infinite overtime anymore, because this is one of those matchups where, well, we might break the record. And they are just going back and forth right now. Brute, wow, the Brute is struggling considerably as the sub. I think maybe just kind of some first league play nerves are getting to him. Definitely not playing to the, I guess, the standard that he holds himself at, and he's definitely wanting to fix this up as soon as possible. If you, I don't want to say it like this, but if you suck at the start of a game, the best time to bring it back is at the very end when it matters. And this is a great time for Brute to kind of get things together, figure it out, and then just capitalize on every single mistake and make the best out of the moment. And just kind of maybe pull out a couple kills here and there.
Yeah, and to be fair to him, he is a sub, and he wasn't really expected to play.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like we expected that he wasn't going to do so hot, and it's not his problem. I mean, it was so out of nowhere that all of a sudden Vitally can't show up.
Yeah, it was literally I think at most, I think he had an hour to prepare. Most likely like 15 minutes, which is
not even enough to get terrorist hunts.
Yeah, it's just a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that you have to do to warm up. Most teams want to do scrims before. He wasn't there for that. I think actually it was Vitally who was in the scrims, and I don't know what happened. I think maybe an emergency came up, so Brute was not even able to play in the scrims today. So it's a rough warm up, but he's definitely looking to kind of figure things out, kind of fix things.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that one of the main roster can't show up, because apparently they've been having this problem a lot. Because I don't know, it's just very unfortunate that Vitally can't show up. I'm not really sure about his skill himself. I haven't watched Ego too much. They're a brand spanking new team.
Yeah.
Back whenever they were wanted, I believe.
Yes, they were wanted, and then Ego picked them up.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so weird to think that their roster just fit together like a puzzle piece. However, Flip is gonna have to solve a puzzle on his own as he backs away, and he will walk away. However, not very much healthy, and he will not walk away in general, as Arctic will take him out, and Mr. B actually going to revive Flip, and he's just gonna run right back in. The man is nuts! He's gonna use his second smoke grenade, however, lots of utility and time and bullets and health being wasted. Flip finally gonna make the consecutive decision to walk away as Mr. B takes out Arctic, who has been showing himself as a very formidable opponent. And that'll be a 4-4. Make that a 3v4 as 6 on the roam clear, or on the flank watch. We're gonna kill on to damaging, taking out the Jaeger. A very high impact frag in that Legion. But IQ as well as his which being his counter, also down here. One lung, they need to get rid of this Monty as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
He's not in a vulnerable position either. They have Glass backing him up, and Spartan as well up top. He will finish off Flip, and now it's all up to the two-man, one-speed big boys. And we see Hourly carrying the LMG with him. Could work out here. The Glass, however, will know the location about. And he will know this himself. Oh! Monty will peek, and Hourly is nuts! But he will fall, unfortunately. And Mr. B left again in a clutch situation against a Glass and a Zofia with sight control. This is the most unlikely scenarios to be in, as the smoke will go down and Plant will as well. And 6 will, or Hoodie, rather. No, 6 will finish it. Wait.
Yes, I think it's 6, yes. It was 6.
Okay, yeah, because both of them were alive.
Alive, yeah.
So, Balance. Back and forth. This game has been back and forth. Yes, it's a 5-4 for Balance. They could easily lock this out right here, but easily isn't the right word to use for that.
Yeah, absolutely
it's
not.
So close.
Yeah.
You can't call shots exactly.
And I think the thing that is probably going to happen here is I'm expecting this Ego side to bring one back, as if we see match point go in favor of BG and they take it on Clubhouse, which is Ego's map, Ego have a lot of problems. They need to figure things out because going on to Coastline, yes, Coastline is a very, very good map for Ego, but it's an even better map for BG. And if we've seen how dominant BG is on Clubhouse, it's going to be tough on Coastline, where I think it's going to be increased tenfold. So you could easily see this roll into a 2-0. But again, easily is not the right word for it, as these guys are just going to keep battling back and forth, and there's not going to be a round where you're going to think, oh, this is for sure going in somebody else's favor, because that's just not how these teams play. They're going to fight till their last dying breath just to get maybe an extra kill there, an extra point there, an extra round win there, because it all matters. It's always about inches in this game, and they're making every inch count, and that's why I think we're seeing these games. And I think any matchup in the future between these two teams is going to be extremely, extremely close.
This might as well be the feud of RCR6, Ego, and Balance. And I guess the Org feud is between Ego. I think that, no, the Org feud is between Viper and Ego. If you don't know,
oh yeah,
Viper and Ego have a huge CS:GO rivalry, and
I think we're starting to see a little bit of a rivalry with these two teams. As if you guys do follow the Twitter for RCR6, you can see all the retweets and things like that that are involved with the teams. And throughout the entire week, we've seen Ego posting I think the slogan for Balance is "Get Balanced" or something like that, or "Keep Your Balance" or something. And yeah, "Keep Your Balance." And Ego, all of their hashtags this week were "Get Unbalanced" or "Lose Your Balance" or things like that. So there's definitely some jabs here and there. So there's a little bit of flavor, I guess, to this match. There's some spices. And I think it's kind of showing up here as these guys are just absolute dogs going back and forth.
Yeah, Ego just making a bunch of enemies, and I guess it makes them more entertaining to watch, because it's like, will they get shut up, or will they just be the ones to shut down the other team? And I mean, the rivalry is proving to be in the size of Balance, but you can't say that for certain, because even if it's a 2-0 from Balance, there's no way that it's going to be as a margin as big as maybe
was that
3
a
rounds.
one-tap? Did I just hear a one-tap from Arctic?
Oh.
I think I did. That's just unfortunate.
And Mr. B's not alive to ban a trick, and nor is Jaeger. He's gone as well, damaging. And Mr. B both going down. Your IGL can now do a bit more of an enhanced shot call, but Bandit's gonna have no trouble. Or sorry, the Thermic's gonna have no trouble opening up this wall, and Brute's gonna have to run away just to save his own life. And already the pressure being felt, and half of the round down. However, One Lung taking a lot of damage. One smoke grenade might be enough to kill him. Oh, actually, I don't have a smoke, so it doesn't even matter. Smoke grenades, however, by One Lung will be the one to be lunged out. And right now, Brute is in a powerful position. If he stays there, he can definitely make something work, but he will be spotted out, I believe, by the Thatcher. And pressure just mounting right now on all of the players as they just get surrounded. And their last oasis of hope is that Eastern Stairwell and the CCTV and the cache, which is being attacked right now. And while they aren't in sight, the pressure is still as great as if they are.
Yeah, the entire defense right now is surrounded, and there's not really anywhere they can run off to. But like you said, with that Maestro here on that stairwell, definitely could be the difference as a flank is opening up. But a plant, I thought I heard was coming down, but I guess not. It might have just been a different sound. But nonetheless here, still 5 as Arctic's not able to see the legs there of the Maestro, as if he just looked down that window, would have been able to get the kill. Brute is going to be, not my fault, Flip is going to be giving the location away, though, as shots are going to riddle out. But the attack has stifled a little bit. They haven't really made any progress. They finally are starting to push. And just like that, shots are going to be riddling out from the Legion. How is that Legion? What? I have no idea how Ego lost that out. How did that Legion... What just happened? How was that Monty not killed? How is that Monty not killed? Wow. That was a very, very interesting way to close that out, but nonetheless, the winner of map 1 is going to be Balance, and they looked very, very good. Next map is going to be Coastline, and we saw Brute not landing 1 kill that match. Very unfortunate. Could potentially be seen a sub in, as yes, we are Vitali is going to be coming in to sub out Brute, so Vitali is going to be back into the picture. That could easily be the difference maker that Ego is looking for, but losing it out on the map of Clubhouse that is favored for Ego Very, very rough start. Yes, it was a close game, but I think there's a little bit more to it than that. We will be right back with you. Wait, actually, before we go, do you have any last things to say before we go into a little bit of a 5-minute break here?
I think I lost my jaw before because I have no idea what just happened there. that should have been Brute's only kill, and it would have been a. But he didn't land his shots. I mean, it's not that he was unextended. He was unextended, and the shield was to his side. There is no reason.
I have no idea.
And there was a crossfire.
I have no idea.
Really, the entire Ego team should be to blame. That Monty should have easily been killed off. So that's my only thoughts there. And walking into this coastline map, I am so glad that we can actually start it. But I guess we're not gonna. Are we gonna? I guess we're not gonna cut to that break.
Yeah, we aren't gonna be going to the break. All the players are actually ready, so we can get right into it here. And I will see you guys actually. Before we start that, obviously, I have to change the map. But I think the thing that is a major thing that we have to take away from that matchup is the fact that was I think the most feared Ego has been on a map. And then Balance kind of did dirty work for them. As it was just every little mistake was capitalized on by Balance. Everything looked really good for Balance. But can they kind of keep that perfection in this next map? Obviously, I don't quite know. Obviously, it's a next map, and it's going to be Coastline, but it is also Balance's map, and it's going to be interesting. But nonetheless, we are going to be seeing you guys on Coastline, so we will be right with you very, very soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are right back, and we're going to be getting right into it on to the operator bans on Coastline. I'm kind of expecting more of the same. I'm expecting kind of very, very typical bans, especially on a map like Coastline.
Yeah, and Echo as well going to be taken off by right out of Hootie's hands. But I want to see if Ego are going to go out of their way to ban the Montaigne, as Glaz will be the first operator, which is interesting because Balance were the ones who like to play Glaz quite a bit. So I guess it's a free ban for Ego in that sense, but then again, they are the ones on the attack. So Glaz is super, super incredible whenever it comes to Coastline attacks, and I guarantee you it's going to be a Monty.
Yeah, it's got to be a Monty off the board. Yes, that's no surprise there whatsoever. Just having that Monty come off the board is a very, very strong ban for the team of what's it called? I just totally forgot the name. Team of Ego, as that Monty was just an absolute menace and just so hard to deal with, and it's absolutely no surprise. And I think that's a really smart ban. Echo as well coming off the board. Get that Echo out of the hands of Hoodie TK.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough. But because Hoodie is just so insane on that Echo, so really smart ban there as well. And I think we're gonna see Mira. And that's exactly what we're going to see. Typical bans, smart bans, no surprises once again. But like I said last match, you don't need to bring surprises in if they're smart bans. And all of these bans, I think, are incredibly, incredibly smart.
Yeah, and a lot of target bans. Actually, both of the operators being target bans, Hoodie and One Lung, both going to be disabled for their attack, or at least dwindled down because... I mean, let's be honest. I'm sure that they were definitely expecting that Monte to be banned after how well they played it on Clubhouse and Coastline. If you have a team that runs Monty and you put them on Coastline, you might as well forfeit at that point because oh man, I just dropped my my pencil.
Unfortunate.
Man, I'm just sloppy today. my phone fell out of my pocket and my heart
thought it was a spider. Yeah.
I mean, okay. Let me justify myself. My case is like weird because it has a little part that sticks out and it's like for the sound and everything, and I just felt it, man. It was like, I just
felt it. Oh my god.
I had the instinct. I wanted to crush that, and I was afraid. And I whenever I reached down, it's like, wow, this is super glossy for a spider, and I just like grabbed my phone.
This is super glossy for a spider. Let me examine it. Did I find a new species?
I don't even know, dude, but it kept me off of my casting, and a spider basically or not even my iPhone.
Yeah, your phone. Oh my goodness. But nonetheless, we're going to be seeing the kitchen defense first, and that's typical lately, as Actually, the statistics show that Kitchen is the most viable site on Coastline. You do tend to see Penthouse played a little bit more, but in comp scene, in the besides ranked, if we're talking about ranked, you're always going to see Penthouse and Hookah. But when you're talking about comp scene, you actually tend to see not a lot of Hookah. You're actually most likely not going to see Hookah and more double bar and Kitchen kind of play. And that's what we're most likely going to see here, as Kitchen is the first chosen, as opening up that entire wall definitely puts a lot of pressure on the attack early on. But if they lose that control of that main floor, it's going to put a lot of pressure on that defense.
Yeah, and thankfully, however, they're going to quickly gain control. I feel like teams struggle to get control of the upstairs, mainly on the site, and once you get it, there's a lot you can do with it, and that's where we see Hourly on the buck that can rain hell above. And they actually have a roamer tower, and the grenade will get thrown, but it'll get shot! Oh no!
That is unfortunate.
And IQ will be so, oh man, if she walks away with her life, she might as well just play the lottery, and...
Well, there it goes. She's playing the lottery.
She's gonna win. But, oh man, that's such a detriment there. Not his fault, however. I'm not sure anyone was expecting him to just get destroyed there. And Clash now going to take advantage of this and get extremely aggressive. And Igor beginning to fall apart as Vitally will go down as well. And this could be the perfect round that Balance have been looking for, as it's 2v5. It's all up to Flip. And Mr. B with the Deagle kill. He's going to try and go for the Clash. And he's going to only have the Deagle in his hands, however. Not enough time to switch. And Flip will try and help him out. He won't put shots onto that Clash, but the Clash is still alive.
Oh my goodness!
And she's gonna walk away unscathed, or not unscathed, but alive.
I think that comes down to really poor teamwork there. Obviously, I'm not talking about the grenade because that's just unlucky, but with the Clash in that position, there's such a nice opportunity to create a pinch, but Mr. B then retreats outside to reload his weapons. And yes, you have to reload your weapons, but at that point, when the only person pushing you is going to be that Clash, you have to create that crossfire. You have to get rid of that Clash. And I think Mr. B retreating it off, kind of just forgetting about it, was a big mistake. And I think just a miscommunication there from the teams. And I think that could easily be the difference in the round, winning and losing it. But Mr. B, nonetheless, is able to make it a 2 versus 3. And Blackbeard is always so menacing, and with, like I said, with that wall opened up, if he gets control of this courtyard area, it's going to put a lot of pressure on this team. As finally, that Clash is going to go down, and it's going to be a 2v2, but 13 seconds left, and finally Mr. B is down. This looks like it's going to be going right towards balancing, and it is, as a very close comeback, but nonetheless, I think it was time and just holding angles. I think actually just time, because when you have time sticking down, you can just hold angles. So time was in favor of BG, and they were able to win it out on the first round of Coastline. It was dominant in the beginning, but valiant effort there by the Ego side to kind of bring things back, but nonetheless, BG are able to take it.
Yeah, and that entire round, Balance really had the advantage, no doubt, and whenever they started to lose their players, they were still in the advantage. I mean, they had the Clash alive for the longest time, and they also had the mute, I believe, sitting at the end of the hallway. In general, either way, there's a million possibilities that Balance would win that, and that one single possibility for Ego, and unfortunately, they rolled the dice and they lost.
Yeah, and I think Mr. B on that Blackbeard is definitely going to be a menace for this defensive team. So I think playing Blackbeard, especially on Coastline, Coastline's a really nice map to play Blackbeard as. Coastline is one of those maps where every single site is accessible from the outside. Villa is the complete opposite, where there's always a buffer room. Coastline is very outside-based play. And then what I mean by that is you can see a Blackbeard perched up on this window almost the entire round, and it will cause the defense to stifle. They will not want to rotate. They will not want to contest, as a giant shield is just blocking a man with a just aggressive beard. And you don't want to challenge that. That's just scary, and that makes sense.
The beard or the
both,
black
both,
beard?
both. As as it's just Mr. B on that Blackbeard. I think just holding those angles, as well as pushing into VIP, opening up holes, and just holding kind of the 90 hallway. It's just a really advantageous spot for Blackbeard. So I think that Blackbeard play definitely is going to continue to be very, very important as it was the last round, as I think Mr. B almost single-handedly was able to clutch that out. So close, but unfortunately not able to get it. So it's going to be interesting to see what the defense does to answer against it. Obviously, you can just kind of shoot him a bunch in the head and just hope that the shield breaks before you get your head shut off. But you're most likely going to see a little bit heavier roam, try to get a flank on him and just try to shoot him from behind.
Yeah, and while your glass shield might be gone, like you said, you still have the beard.
Exactly.
But anyway, yeah, Mr. B is in a powerful position, and whenever it comes to operator bans, you can never ban out a Glaza and a Blackbeard both. They're your peaking operators, and you can never depend on both to get banned, because obviously you have one team choosing the attacker and one team choosing another attacker, so you can never depend on both Blackbeard and Glaz being banned. So in most cases, you will have Glaz in the place of Blackbeard and vice versa if needed. So that's where we see Mr. B. Powerful position, and in general, there are so many of these same positions, and you have the billiards wall, you have the blue bar window, the little small window. You even have the aqua doors. This is a Blackbeard Glass map, and if you don't ban one or the other, you're gonna have a lot of trouble, especially if you leave two alive. As right now, this attack is looking very slow here, just a little bit of a setup. But Arctic is going to be the first one to actually... No, that's actually one lung. Going to get the kill into damaging. That's the hard breacher down. Oh. And that's a detriment on the side of Ego. And also the diffuser. Ego already not looking off to a great start. Their first round was shaky. And it looks like this one's going to be even shakier if they're not able to pull this back. With a minute left, they still have 5 players to deal with. Make that one roamer as well, with that Legion sitting inside of the billiards. And we also see Hoodie being a distraction here for that Legion. And we see a double kill. Oh, man. A frag fest here for Balance.
As Balance, they got rid of that hard breacher early, and it's just completely frozen the attack. It's just freezed the attack, because that's the better, I think, the correct grammar of it. But the plant, nonetheless, is actually going to be coming down. How did Flip get control? Never mind. Just as I say that, the flank was coming out. It's a very smart play here by 6. And I think kind of a little bit of a Trojan horse, but reverse, as they kind of invite them into the site and then just collapse on top of them. So very smart play there from BG, kind of giving them the ego side, that is false hope and potentially getting that plant down, but it's just the flank that came out. And well, you can't watch 14 different angles as one person, and that's kind of what it just came down to. Ego losing it out again. I think the telltale difference of them winning that and losing that was the fact they lost that thermite. Not being able to open up any reinforced walls is terrible. Terrible on Coastline, because it's just every site you need to open at least something. And the fact that he was wiped off, that was damaging, wiped off the board very early on, rough start for them. As potential 6 pick here off the thermite, on blue bar, yes, that kind of makes sense, but you still want to have that hard breacher. And yes, no hard breacher here for Ego. That's questionable. I think we were just talking about how deadly and dangerous it is to not have a hard breacher on this map. And yeah, I guess this site not as viable for a hard breacher, but you still want to have something there, because I don't know, that's just a questionable play, I think.
Yeah. Like you said, thermite isn't required, but he can definitely help out a lot, especially whenever it comes to the office wall connecting blue bar and the offices. That wall is so important if you get it open.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a great plant spot. Yes. It's a great cover. Office in general on this map on the site rather, it's probably the most important site to defend, and you can defend it from above, which is the great thing about it. But the problem with defending Aquarium is that
it's
little
just a
balcony.
melting pot. Yeah, it's just a melting pot for death, because if you see those attackers pushing from the balcony, you're going to have to kind of drop down very soon, and you can get pinched very easily. But again, without that hard breacher, they don't really have to worry about that. They can kind of just play their cards and basically force these attackers into a bottleneck position and kind of force them through the exact same doorway or kind of hole in the wall every single time.
Yeah, and in general, I feel like blue bar and I feel like the double bar defense is one of those where you don't exactly have to have too much map control. Obviously, on the upstairs, that's really for every site that has a top floor. You definitely want to have upstairs control, but they don't Okay, so it doesn't even matter, but it's optional. I feel like for double bar, a lot of
Yeah.
people may disagree with me. You probably are better off taking control of the areas around you in general for every site. Double bar is one of those sites where it's
You can
not
kind of
exactly
you
a
can kind of
priority.
give it up here and there because double bar I think
Yeah.
also is one of the bigger sites, so you have to kind of you don't want to overextend yourself to a point, but having somebody in hookah never hurts, so that could definitely be an issue here. As shots, so those holes do work both ways, as Damaging is going to be taking the brunt of the damage there, and unfortunate as Jackal is going to be brought down to 50 health. So complete upstairs control has been gifted to this attacking side. Now they're just going to have to look to push down into the main site, and that's where the roamers are lurking, as shots are going to roll out, as he just did not learn his lesson, as Damaging peeks through the exact same hole once again, and is going to be brought to his knees and finally into the grave, as Arctic is able to get a nice kill onto that Jackal.
Yeah, and not too detrimental, but that's your secondary shotgun off the board, so you can kind of... That's basically the end of your floor destruction. And we're going to have to see Ego begin funneling down the Cool Vibe stairs, and they're not having much pressure on that, actually. They have their position set, so really they're in a good position. But no longer, as Blackbeard and Zofia will both take a lot of damage. Zofia will be the one to fall, and I just basically ate my own words in a BLT sandwich, but vitally going to at least get one kill on the side of Ego, and Mr. B will find another. These two people can definitely clutch it out. If anybody, you want Mr. B and Vitally on these clutch situations. We're gonna have to see how he works out as he begins Vitally begins putting down his Yings, his Candelas in the floor, which I feel like is a feature that's never used really. You can put them on stresses just like Fuse, but nonetheless, they're in such a bad they're in such a bad position. They have the Legion alive and well, which will easily take out Mr. B. They have 24 seconds left. 6 is now inside of Hookah, and Mr. B and Vitally have to make a move. Unfortunately, Mr. B cannot move anymore as he is finished off and Vitally left in a scenario, and we might as well just say that Balance have won this round.
Yeah, as Flip does get a nice consolation kill onto that Jaeger with the Claymore, but Spartan is able to just... It's kind of a battle of LMGs at that point. I almost said MLG as Black Ops 4, you know? But nonetheless, just battle of LMGs, and Maestro is going to be coming out on top and securing the half 3-0 already. Balance Gaming are just rolling over Ego at this point, and this is not what I expected at all. Yes, Coastline is the map for Balance Gaming, but we saw the map for Ego that we thought was going to be their favorite, and we're like, oh, it's back and forth. That's probably what we should expect on Coastline. Maybe definitely a little bit more favored for Balance, but not as much as we're seeing here. I think definitely looking really, really good right now for Balance, and I think have all the confidence, have all the momentum in their ballpark. They have all the pawns, and they just now have to play them correctly, and they're going to be able to end this 2-0. But that's a very early prediction, and anything can happen.
Well, I guess I have to appeal to the crowd here, I guess. But I'm probably going to get fired from every league I cast. Right now, Balance are just clapping cheeks. They are doing...
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You're just sucking this all in. You just can't wait to see my casting career drop harder than your KD and your rank. Oh, I felt good about
I don't want to hear it, dude. I don't want to hear it, dude. I don't want to hear it. Shut it. Shut it. They don't need to. They don't need to know. Okay.
They've seen it. You have more renown than me, but too bad I can buy your rank with my renown. Imagine getting boosted to a bronze. That's probably you. You probably are gonna get banned.
I'm gonna get banned like right now. Just banned for being boosted by banned for being boosted by a cheater to getting into bronze. They got me out of copper, dude. Come on now.
At least they got you out of copper, I guess. Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah, we see a very typical lineup here from Ego. A lot of utility being brought out. Thatcher's EMPs, Lions E1Ds, Ying's Candelas, Capitals Asphyxiating, and Smoke Bolts, and Jackal with the Inox. Am I right about that? The Inox 3 or something? I don't even remember.
Yeah, but Inox model. Yeah, Inox model 3.
Close enough, I guess. I forgot the model, but yeah, a lot of utility here. Lots of support. I'm pretty sure we can basically call every single player here support operator. If you want to call Mr. B that, I mean, that's a tough boat to really jump into because. Okay, put the breach charge on the wooden barricade. That's fine. But he's making a statement, I guess. I don't know. Oh. And oh my gosh! Question mark. The SDU operator of Arctic Gold will take out the SDU operator of SDU. Is it SDU? I
I
think
think
it's
so.
SDU.
Yeah, I think it's STU. I'm not 100%
Yes, the
positive.
SDU operator is going to go down to the other SDU operator, and that was a very confusing play there. Using the E1D to his advantage will turn it into a disadvantage, but now it'll be balanced out as both of your Hong Kong operators are down as damaging. Gets a late refrag, walking away with just a little bit of HP scathed off of him, but nonetheless, balancing out is what's important as we see the Clash making her presence known. You don't want a Monty on offense? We'll give you a Monty on defense. And
Yeah.
it's, I mean, I guess it's working out as we see Spartan sitting inside of the bathroom. And it's interesting that One Lung isn't actually playing that. I guess he just prefers to play Smoke. But yeah, Hoodie going to be the one on that Clash. And this push is at a halt.
Yeah,
I mean, they don't know what to do.
yeah, they've definitely kind of they've just frozen here as they're getting the pings out, they're getting the pushes, they're getting in position, but it's just taking way too long. They're about 1 minute here, and this is kind of the defense you want to see as Foot is going to be seen there by the Mr. B, and finally 6 is going to go off the board, so that's the Jaeger finally dead. So last EE1D is going to be run out as Mr. B again is able to get another kill. And this could easily be the round that Ego needed. It looked rough as One Lun, though, is able to get a kill on the damage, making it a 3 versus 2. Two very hard anchors here in Smoke and Clash. But Mr. B is able to take down the Clash. And it's going to be all up to the Smoke. And Flip is able to deal with that very, very easily. So that's the round Ego needed. It looked rough. They were definitely slowing the attack down, and it looked really, really good for the defense. But nonetheless, they were able to kind of just speed things up at the flip of a coin. And that's what they need. They need that confidence to kind of bring it back here. Going down 4-0 in the half would have been absolutely detrimental. Yes, 4-1 is still a probability and still a possibility, but it's just a lot better when you have that extra round, because if we saw 5-0 also, just putting them on the match point that early on would have been rough for Ego to come back from. And it's very good to see them just take one round there. It's kind of convincing having it in a 3v2 situation, but nonetheless, there's still a lot of work to do for this Ego side.
Yeah, they have been looking a lot more separated than usual. That what really throws me off and what really throws off my prediction is that clubhouse game. That should have been, in my opinion, if Ego played that way better than they did, if they had that teamwork,
Yeah,
it should have been
that should have been
their
their map for sure.
But instead, we're here now on coastline, and they are down a map.
And being down a map is always a kind of stressful situation because you go into the next map. Yes, you want to be like, guys, it's all right. Just new face, hard reset, blah, 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 blah. But that really never works to its full potential. Yes, you can hit a hard reset, but there's always that thing in the back of your mind saying, well, if we lose this, it's over. It's literally done. As BG, on the other hand, are saying, if we lose this, we have another chance on a map that we're comfortable with. And that's what it comes down to. Ego could easily lose this out because they just don't have the confidence to kind of bring things back. And that's really what it looked like in the early goings of this matchup on Coastline, because down 3-0, literally nothing was going for Ego. That round that they just won, I think, was a lot bigger than what it kind of looks like. Yes, it's only one round and they're still down by a significant amount, but that's not the full story. The full story is, okay, guys, we won one there. We know we can beat these guys. Let's just continue that pace and we can bring this right back and send this to a map 3. So confidence booster there for Ego. Ego was the team last week to get a major comeback. I think the biggest comeback in RCR6 history, coming back 5 rounds to 0. So they can do it, but it's going to be hard as Vitali, though, is Vitally, why do I call him Vitali? Vitally is able to take a kill onto Arctic Gold, but One Lun is there to get the quick refrag.
Yeah, so I said that Ego aren't one of those mental teams, but it seems like, I mean, that's the kind of the caster curse. But they have been definitely affected by this mental game. They're gonna have to take it back as 2 major utility operators off the board, Capitao and Legion. Flip as well, a great player in himself, gone and under the shelf for this entire round. It's a bad start, but we still have that utility heavy lineup from Ego. Not so much on the side of Balance. Wow, I just lost my train of thought there. But Balance kind of just bringing that Maestro and I guess the Jaeger and like all these are just standalone gadgets. But you have these active gadgets on the side of Ego, as they're definitely active as they take out That'll be Vitally getting a kill, as well as Mr. B. It's a rally here for Ego. However, Mr. B barely going to walk away with his life. And a nice shot there from 6 as the E1D will go down. However, One Lung forced in a position where he's going to have to move. And he is the worst red light, green light player ever. And he will be punished for not playing properly. As 6 is left in a 1v3. It's winnable, but unfortunately the first shots will be missed. And the location will be known as the diffuser will go down. Vitally just has to hold the angle, but he'll lose it instead. Not expecting the crouch here. 6 could definitely clutch this, but he is in such a bad position as we see Damaging going to use his second E1D to hopefully stop him right in his tracks. And do that it will, as he sits right outside of the theater. He will make a rotation right back in. And half of the diffuser has gone down. That timer is ticking, and Damaging and Mr. B are in such powerful positions. However, it looks like Mr. B will fall to that, and 6
Go for
might
the
be able
defuse.
to win this. The Claymore is right there. He might actually be able to get this. If Damaging isn't careful, he's going to rush in, and that will be the end of 6 and the end of the round.
I think that was very, very well fought there by 6 as
Mike
he was
Tyson level 2.
Exactly, God. As I'm leveling up. But very, very just good effort there by 6. He was very, very close to kind of clutching that out. He was just great individual skill. But I always say this, the moment you put a teammate in a 1vx situation where X is greater than 2, you lost that round. Even if they clutch it, you lost that round because you know you did something wrong. You push your teammates against the odds. You put them against probability, and that means you lost the round. And that's what we saw there from Balance. Yes, they were so close to winning it, but even if they won that, I still think they would have lost that round because Ego, that attack from them has just been so menacing, and all of these kills are just coming in bursts. As like you saw, it was out of nowhere, 2 kills, 3 kills for Ego, and then just people are wiped off the board over and over and over again, close, and they're very close together. And I think the reason that's happening is because either too many people are watching the same angle, or people are just not getting their spacing correctly. I think that's something that's overlooked in Siege quite a lot, is spacing. Yes, you want to be kind of close to the objective, like you want to be close to your teammates, but you don't want to be close to a point where if somebody dies, everybody else dies as well. And that's something that we kind of saw from Balance. Obviously, now seeing the rotate out from sides, this could be a good way to kind of reset that mindset and maybe reignite the winning mentality they had when they went up 3-0. Or we could easily see Ego bring this one back once again, like they did last week when they were down by a considerable amount.
Yeah, what I've been noticing about these kills is that coincidentally, they've been extremely high impact frags. I mean, the first 2 operators to go down last round were a Legion and a Capitao. And in general, these high utility operators that you don't want to lose have been going down. That's just coincidence. You don't really target them. You don't know which is which.
Yeah,
you just kind of shoot at anything that moves. But that, I mean, I guess it's just a coincidence. And we saw the Capitao, what I believe, what I would like to think is what threw off the entire attack there for Ego, as they are now on the defense, however. 2-3. Whenever they brought that Capitao, I felt like it was revolving around a strategy. They're not a team like Prime that loves to play their Capitao, and if you ban their Capitao, they might just crumble at the seams.
Yeah.
They're not like one of those teams. But if they bring a Capitao, I would like to believe that if it's Ego, it's for a reason.
Mm-hmm. As we are going to be seeing the push here into the aquarium area from the balcony, as Vitally is going to be going down to One Lun, and that is going to be the menacing Blackbeard now in the hands of One Lun. Mr. B was so good on him, but now it's, I guess, their turn to use him as not Mr. B. One Lun is able to get that first frag, which is a very nice frag. Yes, that's not really a utility frag off the board, but just roamer presence right off the board, as just not having that bandit to worry about. It's a very, very good start for this roam clear. Jaeger, though, is going to be rotating through the penthouse area and going to potentially go through theater and try to catch this IQ kind of on her toes, but unfortunately Mr. B is going to be lion scanned here and is going to be in a very, very tough spot as the pinch is coming out here from this BG side. But Mr. B is actually able to survive, but not very long, as Hoodie is right there to get the refrag almost instantly.
Yep, 4v3, and it's on the side of Balance Gaming, but not by much. They're in a position where they have site control and everything, and but Balance are just gonna start applying the pressure, and it depends on how they use it. However, having upstairs control, it can make you can do one of two things. You can have presence, or you can have power. You can pressure, or you can just kind of stay there and be like, yeah, we're here. We're just gonna let you know. And Damaging will know that a bit too much, as One Lung will take him out. Unfortunately, not able to revive himself in time, leaving us at a 2v4. And you have a Maestro and a Smoke. Two operators that are probably your best clutchers. You have Flip, who's just an absolute... You had Flip. And now Aoeah is by himself in a 1v4. He has the Maestro Cam to help him out. However, he'll have to move on that E1D, and his location will be known. Hip firing and getting the kill and the diffuser, I believe. But still, a 1v3. And he's in such a precarious position inside the corner. 1v2! He could do this! It's all possible. Low HP here on the Blackbeard, as well as the Lion. A 1v1! Damaging is making his way through. He is trucking through the operators as One Lung will be pinged. And the diffuser is down. This is so winnable here for Aoeah. Will the clutch happen?
Oh!
One Lung will save the round. Absolute detriment there. And what was an almost clutch here for Aoeah will flip right on its head. A 1 HP One Lung will be able to get right through it. And Balance are so close to taking this game 4-2, and this is different from Clubhouse.
BG had everything going so well for them until they got to the site. Lion did not have the bomb there, and he was completely alone. Was probably the best operator to plant in that situation because Maestro had 0 intel on that Lion. Lion didn't have the bomb, and then they just all started pushing through the exact same door. At that point, someone needs to rotate off and just go plant in the other room. That's not what happened. We did see a rotate off, but it was so close to being too late as One Lung was just pushing in, holding his breath for dear life, hoping that that time didn't run out. He was able to get the frag nonetheless, but that was way, way too close for comfort, and Aoeah almost just completely shut down what was a very, very skilled round for BG and almost made it look like a complete mess. But nonetheless, BG were able to come out on top. And like you said, so close to match point here as my water bottle just explodes onto my desk. But so close to match point here. And once you get onto match point, you are so close to winning the series. And that is going to be BG. We're so close.
Yep. I don't know if you do match updates here, but I mean we can make it a thing. If I mean I don't know.
Oh, like on like FIFA when they're like match update, we have 2-0 as Harry Kane has just scored, like things like that.
Harry Kane always scores. What do you mean?
Harry Kane is an absolute buns, dude. Don't even. That man
Too
is
bad he can't
terrible.
win a World Cup.
Yeah, that man is terrible.
Whoa!
That man is terrible.
Harry Kane is not horrible. My throat, but. Oh god.
Neymar is the GOAT, dude. What matchup? Let's spit it.
Spit. I can't. I gotta spit something though. I'm starting to choke. Anyway, Disrupt will take the game against Dirty Birds 2-1. That's all I really wanted to say.
2-1.
2-1. Close.
What? Oh wow. That's definitely gonna surprise a lot of people. As people, I think everyone thought Disrupt were gonna be able to take that 2-0. But do you know what map there was 1 on that Dirty Birds were able to take it?
No idea. I just know the scoreline.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but a 2-1. I mean, definitely a fight from Dirty Birds, and 6 will win the fight against Mr. B, and the 3-character username that will reign supreme will be 6, and it's a 5v3 now, and Ego are at the threat of match point against them, and this is a completely different side of what we saw in Clubhouse. Yeah, sure, it is their map, but they shouldn't be down this much. I mean, there's a lot expected. And also,
sorry to interrupt, but yes, they're down by a lot. But people are gonna be like, well, 4-2, they could easily come back from that. But BG have been outclassing, outplaying Ego every single which way, and that's something you just didn't expect at all. And that's definitely what we're seeing right now.
Right, and it's a butt whooping, really. I can't really say much other than that. Ego won their rounds. Oh, but they were all close, and oh my gosh, what just happened? Well, he will be shut down, thankfully, as Damaging, however, gets a refrag. And that could be the round that puts them back. A great play from Flip. Not even sure if he knows that he just bonked 2 heads together like bowling pins. And 1 minute remaining, however, low health on the Sophia, not so low HP on the IQ, against full HP Mute and a Maestro. 50 seconds, it's winnable, but oh man, is it going to be a tough task, a rough mountain to climb. We're gonna have to see if they are able to win this, as Hourly will get the kill on the 6, leaving this all up to the IQ, and Hourly will just peek the same doorway, hoping that the IQ will run through that again. He will spawn him out, but not able to land his shots, and he's just going back and forth. I'm here, but the question is can he land his shots? And he's back again, left and right, as Arctic will have to recover the diffuser and rotate all the way over. And 15 seconds left. I'm not even sure if the Mute knows that he will figure out. However, a nice shot there from Arctic. He can clutch this out. He just needs to get one more kill. Oh! He'll find it! The man is nuts. He's done it. He's won the entire round. Arctic, absolutely incredible there. And Balance Gaming, they're winning their gunfights. I should never underestimate them ever again in my entire life. And Balance are just one round away from letting me locking out the game.
Oh my god. How did he win that gunfight? They knew exactly where he was for almost the entire map, but shots through the wall are able to connect onto that Maestro, which were huge. But then I was thinking, okay, this IQ's at like 5 health. She trips over her shoelaces as she walks into this door. It's over. But nonetheless, she just bobs and weaves through every single bullet that Damaging threw at her. And she was able to clutch it out, making it 5-2 now on the threat of a 2-0. Everybody thought that this matchup was going to be one of the closest of the season. Either Balance Gaming are playing out of their mind, or Ego are just not living up to expectations right now, and it's not looking good for Ego at all. And yes, they're playing good. Yes, they're getting things done here and there, but I kind of want to say they're not living up to expectations. I also want to say Balance Gaming are playing out of their mind, because it's, I think, a little bit of a mix of both, because Balance are playing extremely well, but there's also times we're looking at Ego, and I'm kind of questioning, this was not the team we saw last week at all. This is just confidence seems off, the mentality seems off. Something is not clicking between these players right now. I don't know if they just didn't have their Wheaties this morning. Something's wrong. And
hey, it's illegal to do drugs in RCR6, isn't it?
Wheaties, like the cereal.
Oh.
Like,
the only thing I eat is Honey Bunch of Oats, honestly.
Oh, that is the best. That is seriously the best. I love Honey Bunches of Oats. That is so good. I get with the extra almonds too. Oh my goodness, dude. But nonetheless,
I like the strawberry.
Those are good too. Those are good too. But nonetheless, Ego didn't have their Honey Bunches of Oats. But
thank you.
Wait, was that like a Ligma thing or something? Am I missing it?
No, it's just that I thought that Wheaties was a drug.
Oh, yeah, that's Wheaties is a cereal. But nonetheless, Ego, I don't think had their Wheaties this morning. And I think that's why they are just not looking for themselves.
Did you say Wheaties?
Wheaties, Wheaties, like the cereal, Wheaties.
WHEAT?
IES, Wheaties.
What? I thought you were saying WEEDIES.
No, wheat.
That, maybe if you would have pronounced things better.
It was Wheaties. Everybody knows it's Wheaties. Wheaties.
Come on, man. Clubhouse is over. You gotta start speaking English properly now. You're not in Germany. You're in Spain.
Oh my
goodness. It doesn't really make a difference, but
oh my god.
I gotta do my Google.
Jesus. Oh my god. This was whatever. The round's already a minute in, and we've seen absolutely nothing, and we apologize, but this was a very important conversation to have, as Thermite now is going to be lurking all by himself here onto this vigil. Thermite on roam clear, that's questionable, as he could easily lose his gunfight out onto Hourly, but it's Mr. B who's going to be going down first, as Hourly just has 1 health here. He could trip over his shoelaces and be dead, and he doesn't need to trip over his shoelaces as he takes a bullet to the head, and now 3v5 in the round that matters most here for Ego. Could potentially lose it out 2-0.
I'm not gonna lie, a bullet to the head is a little bit more dramatic than tripping on your shoelaces.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, what do Wheaties taste like? No, I'm kidding. Anyway, 3v5. You lost your roomers. That's an entire group of players down, and 3v4 now, as Spartan will be felled. But still, a great advantage here. 3v4. But Ego have preserved 2 of their best clutch operators on the Smoke and the Maestro, both Flip and Vitally. They could definitely win this out for themselves. but they're in such a disadvantage. It's going to be tough, and it will be an absolutely amazing if they can, because they need this round or else they'll go down, and that'll be smoke off the board. Flip going down by Hoodie, sitting inside of the bathroom, and I don't want to call it yet, as we've seen a lot of upsets this entire game. But this could be it, as the Maestro Cam from Vitally will take out Hoodie with that final shot. And also IQ, a double, I believe, from the Maestro, but it won't matter, as 6 with a double kill for himself will win out that game. Balance taking Coastline 6-2, taking the series 2-0, and Ego, unfortunately, will not be celebrating tonight.
And again, this is something I said earlier. Spacing was a major issue for both of these teams. And in the end, what was that last kill? 2 people sitting in the exact same corner, pinched and not spaced out. And exactly what happens, both of them die as, One Lun throwing out some rivalry there, as the hashtags all week were it was unbalanced, stay unbalanced, things like that. That's what Ego was dishing out, and then you guys weren't able to see, but One Lun actually said hashtag, what is it? He said what did he say? Oh my goodness, now I just forgot about it. He said something along the lines of, he said check your ego. So, very, very intense, I think, rivalry building out between these two teams. It's going to be interesting to see if we see them kind of come together in a clash for a playoff spot or a clash in playoffs, which should be even more entertaining. But nonetheless, guys, we will be right back with you with the post-game analysis, potentially a post-game interview as well as the fact I will try to get a game update on the Disrupt game for you as soon as possible. So we'll be right back as soon as possible. So just stay tuned and don't leave, so we can get maybe a inside glimpse of what was going on through the heads of those Balance Gaming players as they pulled off, I wouldn't call it an upset, but a little bit of an unexpected, I think, thrashing of Ego. So we'll be right back as soon as possible. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back, and I also am back with the game update of the Disrupt versus Dirty Birds. So Disrupt win it 2-1, Oregon 6-1. Disrupt going down 6-0 on Consulate, and then Disrupt able to bring it back on Border, and then in the end take it against Dirty Birds. So great effort there from Dirty Birds, just shutting down DG on the map of Consulate. But unfortunately, we're not able to close it out on DG. I think we're the favorites considerably in that match. Looking at the Twitter poll, I think it was 93% in favor of Disrupt. But nonetheless, I am going to hop into the interview with the not Dirty Birds, my fault. I'm going to hop in the interview with the Balance Gaming team to see exactly what was going through their head. I'm going to hop in there as quick as possible.
Did very well.
Hello?
Hello.
All right, so I'm going to get right into it, guys, and just ask the question straight away. So, coming into this matchup, obviously there has been, I wouldn't call it beef. I think just kind of some friendly banter back and forth between you. I don't know if you guys viewed it as friendly, but that's what I saw. But friendly banter between you and Ego kind of building up to this match. Did that kind of affect how you guys played, kind of the mentality you had coming into this matchup?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That friendly banter made us want to win even more.
So what was it like? Would you guys call it maybe the start of a rivalry potentially?
They would have to win for it to be a rivalry.
I would say friendly rivalry.
I think they just created a rivalry.
Oh no! Get to bug.
No, but obviously, if you guys do see on Twitter, there was kind of the hashtags going back and forth, as well as we saw the hashtag at the end of the matchup. I don't know who sent it, but it was
me.
It was good.
It was
good. It was good. I'm not gonna lie. That was a great way to kind of shut them down. But the second question I have, and then I'm gonna hand it over to Jazzman, is there was a moment they're obviously going into Clubhouse, and letting Clubhouse through against Ego was very questionable. And that's what I thought, as also Jazzman thought as well. How did you guys kind of shut them down on probably their most powerful map?
We practiced harder.
Yeah,
and we set up better strats. We knew they were going to try to take us to club, so we scrimmed club like 4 times this week.
Right, so just instead of kind of going for that ban, you guys decided, hey, let's just outplay them?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We were confident in our club
Because
to begin
like,
with.
It's not really outplay them, just outwork them in the sense of practice.
True. And also, just actually one last question before I hand it over to Jasmine is, then going on to Coastline, you guys obviously had a lot more confidence on Coastline than you did Clubhouse. What did you guys do to prepare for Coastline, or was it kind of just all Clubhouse this week?
We did Coastline too. We didn't do it as much as Clubhouse because we're real confident in our Coastline right now. But and we thought we were gonna be doing this as more Clubhouse. Jeez.
all right. Okay, that's gonna be all my questions. But Jasmine, do you have any? Or you skip?
Yeah. My opening question is going to be: do you guys know what Wheaties are?
Like the cereal?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
He
need
was
to
so
know.
confused. I said it in the cast, and he was like, "What?" He was like, I thought drugs weren't allowed. I'm like, Wheaties, the cereal. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh my
That's
God.
okay. All right. No, but real question. Walking into that match, you felt. It seems like you guys had a lot of confidence going into that. Was there any specific things that you felt like were going to be an obstacle in your way?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think we covered a lot this week.
Yeah, I think we covered pretty much everything we needed to. I think the only thing that kind of caught us off guard was that one of the Monty pushes with they had a pulse, and that, I feel like that kind of caught us off guard. But other than that, everything was pretty straightforward.
Okay, well, I don't know if I'm gonna start some heat here. If you don't think anything like that threw you off, do you feel like any players possibly were you kind of had eyes on whenever walking into that match?
Not really.
Okay,
That's
alright.
ego. They're ego.
Yeah.
Stop.
Whoa.
Stop.
In the first map, to be fair, like 3 or 4 rounds in, I looked at the scoreboard and it was like 2 people
It
with
was
0
hourly,
kills,
and it
1
was,
person with 2, and then like the other 2 had like 8, and I was like, okay, all right, there's some
somebody
fraggers.
else that had one. Had
Yeah, and
like
then
lots of
it
kills.
It was Brute. I think it was found himself at the bottom. It was Brute and
Yeah.
Flip.
And
who found
Damage.
himself.
Was it Flip?
No, Damage. My fault.
Yeah, was
yes,
it Damage?
At the bottom, and then on the next map, it kind of completely flipped. His Flip was struggling, and then Hourly was struggling. So
Yeah.
definitely some issues on the side, and they're definitely gonna have to address that. But Jasmine, do you have any more questions, or?
What do you feel like you could have done better on Clubhouse? Because mainly it was Clubhouse that seemed to almost take you off of your shoes and throw you into a pit of fire, because that was super close. It was back and forth, and I believe you were the first team that entire game to actually take 2 rounds in a row at that point, where you won it out. What do you feel like was your main challenge on Clubhouse?
Getting our offense going on defense, like being aggressive on defense, we were trying to kind of struggling.
Aggressive. Yeah, we kept getting picked and just taking fights that maybe we shouldn't have, and that gave them the man advantage, and they pushed it pretty well.
And our rotations were super bad. Like we were getting caught out on things that we probably shouldn't have been.
All right, well, that's going to be it for me then.
All right, guys, thanks so much for sticking around. We really appreciate it. And obviously, I think a really good win, obviously physically, as you guys are going to boost yourselves on the scoreboard, but also mentally, just kind of shut down all that ego beef, quotation marks. I don't know if it's beef yet, but there's definitely something brewing there. But again, guys, thanks so much for sticking around.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that is going to be it for us today. Obviously, the Disrupt game was happening at the exact same time, and I already gave you the update on that. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And there has been a little bit of confusion exactly how the games are getting casted and things like that. We are going to be changing up the scheduling, not the scheduling process, but the scheduling days slightly coming into this next week. We are going to open up league play onto Sundays. So that will then make it so 2 games every single day. Mostly all games should be casted if they are not rescheduled. So this will ensure a lot more casting. Obviously, there's a lot more days. Well, not a lot more days. One more day, as in Sunday, that will be introduced into, I guess, the league play pool. But I think it is definitely a move in the right direction, and I hope you guys all agree with that. If you have any recommendations or suggestions, feel free to just shoot me a DM, as I try to respond to them, but some of them do get lost. So if I don't respond, don't be afraid to re-message me. But thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Really good game today. I think went a little bit unexpected. A lot of people thought this was going to be the closer of the 2 matchups, but Disrupt actually pretty odd matchup between them. But nonetheless, thanks, guys, so much for tuning in. Jasmine, do you have any closing remarks?
No, in general, that was a very good match. I feel like Clubhouse was a bit more competitive in my opinion, because Ego kind of had clutch situations that they won in their 2-round wins, minus, I guess, a pretty strong attack by both damaging Mr. B to lock it out. But
Yeah.
in general, I feel like Ego definitely didn't live up to what they usually do. I don't think this is the end, though. They are
Absolutely
definitely
not.
a strong team, and we're going to have to see how they improve time and time again, as they had a tough start. They had to bring in Brood, who wasn't able to actually get any frags, and bringing in Vitally, he actually didn't do half bad on Coastline, but the team in general just wasn't able to show up on that map.
It was definitely separated. They seemed kind of not together today, and that's something you don't really typically see from Ego. I think the question now is, obviously, if you want, but I think the question now is, how are they going to bounce back from this? Obviously, if they bounce back from it with the mentality they had today, I don't think we're going to be seeing them at the proper level. But if they go back to that week 1 matchup, if they think, all right, guys, we can turn these things around, I think we might be seeing a different Ego next week. It's just kind of, how will they treat this matchup? What will the improvements be? How will they practice? How will the I guess, practice regimen change based on this loss? Because definitely unexpected.
Right, so Balance having an incredible game, Ego unfortunately not. So great games to both.
Yes, absolutely, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. That's going to be it from us, though. Absolutely spectacular match. Very, very close, but well, we're going to have to give that edge to Balance, and maybe that beef will continue. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for a couple games, as these are all games this week should be very, very interesting, as they always are in RCR6. Come on now. But that's going to be it from us, guys. See you guys tomorrow.